This episode of WoW Weekly is brought to you by WoWweekly.net, your source for Warcraft and Blizzard news, guides, and editorials.
This week in Warcraft, absolutely nothing other than Hunter Hydra pets. I'm Messi and welcome to our weekly episode number 28. This week I'm joined by LJ. How are you, LJ?
Doing quite well. And yourself?
Yeah, good. I've had an extremely lazy day, so I'm surprised it's already 7 p.m. It doesn't feel like that at all.
Nice to have that once in a while, huh?
Yeah. And joining us this week once again is Warren. Welcome back, Warren. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Mizzy. It's been a good day, but yeah.
Well, the weather is good outside, at least from what I can tell on the weather websites. 18 degrees.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Been outside once or twice.
Yeah, have to get out in the world sometime.
Well,
Yeah,
if you really have to, if it's necessary, huh?
I know, right? Been doing it all week, and then when it's weekend and I can sleep in, the weather becomes good.
Yep.
Let's move on to Blizzard. So, nothing happened this week in the world of Warcraft. Is there anything that happened in the world of Blizzard this week, guys? Anything at all?
Except for the Reaper of Souls, of course, its launch.
Oh, Reaper of Souls, right. I think it's time we talk about Reaper of Souls then. And let's just look at what they added in Diablo Reaper of Souls and see what they changed compared to how it first was, because when Diablo first came out, it kind of was crappy. It got boring very quickly.
Well, it wasn't kind of crappy. It was pretty crappy. The loot system and such. It was just it was still very addictive, but like you said, it got very boring very quickly.
Yeah. So let's see what they added and maybe how that can translate to WoW, because WoW's getting pretty boring as well.
Yeah.
Now, to start off with, I actually didn't have Reaper of Souls. There have been some issues regarding that for me.
Oh, sounds like.
I'm not sure if you know the exact specifics of it, Warren, but let's just say that I'm waiting on something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you guys to pretty much talk the entire time. So let's start off with the very first thing that got added, and that was Adventure Mode. LJ, what is Adventure Mode, and what does it do?
Well, actually, as we're talking now, I'm actually playing it at the moment. Adventure Mode basically adds something for. Well, you unlock it when you've defeated the end boss, which I shall not say, but everybody knows who it is, from Reaper of Souls. And basically, what it does, it gives you a one of the 5 areas is the bonus area, I believe, right, Warren, if you call it like that.
Yeah, it opens up the new whole play system where you can jump between which acts you want to and then complete bounties within those acts. Now, bounties consist of killing bosses, doing events, or just running around killing a specific mob in an area.
Exactly. So it varies, and there's
so
always
it varies,
five of those quests, basically bounties, in an area. And if you complete all 5, you get a extra chest,
Rodrim cache. Yeah,
Rodrim cache. So basically a chest.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's nice, and that, for instance, it you can get blood shards by completing those quests and such, and blood shards translate into more loot. Basically, you pay, like, for instance, 15 blood shards for a random glove, for instance, and they'll have the stats that you need. But it's just that they can be a legendary as well, so that's also a nice It's there. Yeah, actually, the first hotfix has already been released. I think
Yeah.
today, and they've increased the amount of legendaries you can get from her as well, from the vendor, from that sells
Kardala, yeah.
Cardala or whatever her name is, that sells the blood shards. So the blood shard items. So that's always also nice.
So that's pretty awesome, actually.
It is pretty awesome. You get them quite fast as well. I mean, if you do like one whole set, you can get like what 50, I think, something like that, Warren.
Yeah, I've just killed one of the bounties at the moment. I went and got 50 off him, and then you also get these rift portal
Yeah,
keystones
the
fragments
keystones. Yeah,
from.
also get those.
All right. So, how long does it take to clear an act? I guess it is still.
Because you can choose which bounty you go for, you can just click on your map and teleport to the bounty area, so you're not running back and forth all through the whole act.
Yeah.
So that's more or less the benefit for it. You can just click your map, just say, "Oh, I want to go to, say here and do this event," and then once it's done, okay, click on your map again, teleport here, and it cuts so much time out and running around all over the place because I think that got really boring with me. So as soon as the adventure mode opened up for me, I was just like, "Yes, finally!"
Yeah. It was really nice to see how that worked. How easy it is at the moment, or easy like they made it easy to actually play it. It's not just going back and forth and doing the same shit the whole time. It's really nice to do some different stuff in Diablo than
Just mixes it up.
kill
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's dynamic content because it is different every time you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just
Yes.
totally random. As soon as you complete the whole bounties in one area, you move on to the next act and say, "Oh, I don't like this act anymore." So you go back to the act before. The whole
yeah.
bounties have changed all over again, so they can be totally different ones to the one you had before.
Well, that's pretty cool. How could we see this translate to World of Warcraft? Because we know that with Diablo, the maps always are auto-generated with key map points, basically, for objectives to continue on the act in normal story mode, I'll call it. How could we see this translate to World of Warcraft? What can WoW learn from this? Because it sounds like it makes it a lot more fun and interactive and surprising.
Yeah, and it's difficult, of course, with a random area generator generating that, because that's something that will never be able to be implemented, possible to be implemented in WoW. But it's nice to have. Well, they did a little bit always with the dailies. Like one day you have these dailies, and the day you have these dailies. So it's already a little bit implemented in WoW, but also make those dailies more rewarding, basically. So that's because it's a different dynamic, of course, with Diablo and WoW, because you don't have raiding with Diablo, basically.
Yeah, and that's where you
So
get your loot in World of Warcraft.
yeah, exactly. So this is basic to compensate with that as well. But if you want to make it more dynamic, it's hard to say to make WoW really dynamic. It's been always very uh,
Static?
static. That's the word. Game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think lots of other different developers. That's the word. Have tried that as well to make the MMO genre a bit more dynamic, and some have done it better than others, of course.
Yeah.
WoW is just renowned for its staticness.
Yeah, the one thing, for the one MMO that really sticks out to me is Rift. With the Rifts, those were dynamic events.
Yeah,
It
That
it
would
would
definitely.
be.
be it would be quite nichey if they did open up bounties for WoW during quests, like, oh, for a bonus extra, have this bounty as well to kill a certain mob,
Yeah.
because it would then give, oh, what's the initiative here? Oh, okay, let's do that, and then, oh, what extra reward did we get?
Yeah,
Um, it,
Yeah.
it will give something else to do, because people would then say, oh, well, it's repetitive, just keep doing the same quests over and over. Oh, but hold on, what's this? Oh, they've added something extra. What can I do here? Because it give the uniqueness of something new to actually go and do, rather than just being stuck in the static continuous quests. As, yeah, we'll just go, all right, okay, just carry on,
yeah.
trundle on, yeah.
Pick up
But
A, go to B, and then hand it in
yeah,
or whatever.
hand it in
Same
at
stuff.
C. Yeah, I'll go back to
Yeah,
Yeah.
A. Yeah.
So
exactly.
we know that in Worlds of General we are going to get bonus quests. When you're in an
Mhm.
area, you get bonus quests for that area as well. But then, wouldn't it kind of need to be a whole set of bonus quests, and that you get one random one each time? So otherwise, because it is just a static bonus quest, just like in Star Wars, for example, it's always the same bonus quest when
Yeah.
you are on a certain set of quests.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'd love to see WoW actually do this and then create an entire set of quests for each area, and you only get one or two per area, and so that when you level up another character, it might be a different experience.
Yeah, it might be the different bonus quest to do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that is really that would be a nice idea for WoW to make it less static and make it more uh, enjoyable in some areas.
yeah. And then one other thing, because Timeless Isle is going to be used more in Warlords of Draenor as well, and they had the first version of these bonus areas, events, things, but they were always over quite quickly. So taking a page out of Rift's book, what they really then should do is make the dynamic events last longer, so that everything doesn't just fall over straight away, but still be interesting at the same time. That would
Do you think
be something interesting for Blizzard to really, look at and improve on.
do you think that's not where Blizzard tried to go with the whole scenarios and everything? With trying to throw in a different kind of niche to what they have. So the
Well,
reduced,
I think
yeah,
that was more an answer to having to queue up, and then you had the roles, and scenarios are used a lot better now for stuff like stories. Look, it's the Throne of Thunder Islands quest hub and the events and stuff like that.
You mean
Every
the single player scenarios?
Exactly,
mm,
they'll use that especially to tell the story
It's
more,
it's
and they will have end bosses and stuff like that. We already know that for Warlords of Draenor. Each area will have, or maybe almost every area, will have that type of end experience to make it more unique. So
okay.
that's still more staticky though, because you can only do it once, at least as
Yeah.
far as I know.
yeah, true. You can only do it once, but there are a lot of different ones of that as well. And I would like what you said. I think both what you and Warren said is true, because with scenarios, it's a good uh, thing to actually tell a story in it, but also to try to add something new. And I think they tried to do that with scenarios, and though I think they didn't really fully succeed in that, because they basically made it into a at the moment how it is, just a shorter uh,
A shorter dungeon.
heroic. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, shorter dungeon. That's what it feels like at the moment, at least. So that might be something they want to improve on in the future. I would definitely like to see more dynamic scenarios. I mean, um, that's the one thing I have to hate to admit, that's what I like about PvP. It is more dynamic than static PvE content.
Hmm.
Like I personally like I love the automatic rally, but stuff like if it would be done better, the what should we call it, the Isle of Conquest with vehicles and
Oh
such.
yeah.
If they, I mean, I like those kind of concepts, and if they could make try to translate that to a PVE um, way, to a PvP content way,
Yeah.
that also improve the game, I think. And that would
Yeah.
also for later stages, because then we would have a less difficulty, or less, yeah, boring moments like we do have now with only Siege of Orgrimmar basically for PvE players, while PvP players can still play the game, because every PvE game is basically different than the one before it.
Well, you bring up a good point with the raiding. And I think the non-boss stuff in raids could be more dynamic, that it's different each time, and that it has more entertainment value. But raid bosses themselves need to stay the same for the competitive raiding scene. Um, so I'd rather than either see the dynamic content have outside of the bosses themselves, which would be great, would entertain more, or otherwise just in the world. Because as we know in Warlords of Draenor, we're going to need to mount up underground mounts everywhere.
Yeah,
So you'll encounter more things. You won't fly over them. So they can really
true.
make the world a lot more engaging.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know a lot of people have been moaning about that principle, but I think it's a really good idea to actually enjoy the content more as a whole. Because as soon as you got to level 90 now, everybody got on their mount and forgot about basically Pandaria and everything on it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, any last thoughts on dynamic content? Or perhaps the translation from Diablo to World of Warcraft?
It was with Diablo getting the whole transmog and actually enchanting possibilities that they've gone and implemented now.
Hmm.
Uh, Diablo's gone and taken the whole transmog from WoW, which I think is great because I
Yeah.
can get
Yeah,
some awesome looking weapons. Um, but it's also with their unique style of enchanting, so you can change like your
Yeah, let's get into
chant.
enchanting then.
Okay,
Yeah, Warren, tell us how does enchanting go in Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls?
okay. So there's this new merchant who then handles all of your enchanting. She can change one of the stats on one of your items. So say you've got chance to chill, chance to freeze, chance to stun. You can then change that to a possibility of a better enchant. So it's a random one of a certain list. So, for example, I'll just go to the woman now and give her a little run off of what she can do.
All right. In broadcast demo.
Broadcast demo.
well, she handles the trimorphication and the enchanting bites as well, and she's basically like a new blacksmith or jewel crafter. That's how you should see her if you don't have Reaver of Souls yet. So she is it's a nice addition to the whole game. I think
Another gold sink.
another gold sink indeed. First you have to upgrade her, of course, and that alone takes quite some material and gold.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's just it's
Okay.
nice. Oh, go ahead, Warren.
So you can change like the golden health pickup, and the possible ones that it can change to give it is increased physical resistance, increased cold resistance, element resistance of sorts. It can give you an increased chance of finding gold, resistance, increased experience, level reduction, or ignore durability loss. So there's chances that if there's something on there that you really can't be bothered with, so gold pickup radius, so you can change that property, and it's then given me ranged and melee attacks take damage when they hit me. So I'll change to that one. So
All
gives me
right.
some thorn damage, which then
So every
applies
time it's different.
every time. It's
Yeah.
totally different.
It's a
That's
bit
kind of
RNG.
cool.
It's a bit RNG, but it works well so far because, well, basically you can really take the really shitty stuff like what Warren says. Like I do with most, like pick up gold radius. I mean, that's not really something that will, if it lowers, you're not gonna die from it or something. You can really drop that to something like thorns or a specific cast. Like I'm on my wizard, and arcane torrent, which is my main DPS spell, gets increased with damage. So I mean that is just a huge buff in itself.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Does it cost a lot to enchant it?
Depends on the item as well, I think. Right, Warren?
Yeah, it does depend on the item. If it's a legendary, it will cost Death's Breath, which is the high-end crafting
Crafting.
material, along with, say, your Arcane Dust and the other item that's needed, along with then, say, 20k of gold. And there's then some items which would just take your Arcane Dust and your Veiled Crystals, and some
Okay.
gold as well. So it just depends on the level of the item, and it depends on, say, if it's a weapon or an armor, as to how much of the resource they need to change it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Um, with the randomness, can that be translated into WoW at all? Because WoW is a very different game in that sense that you do want certain stats, and you don't really want to leave it up to fate for rating, for example.
That's true.
No, no, you don't. I think it's the enchanting in WoW and enchanting in Diablo now are two very, very different things, and I don't think you really can translate that to one another.
Unless
Yeah.
it was just for a specific enchanter item, so example like their rings.
Yeah.
It'd be something like displacement, take a useless thing away and then change it for something that's useful yourself, but you'd have to then change or choose a useful thing for the enchanter to have. So it displace a crap thing for a good thing. So yeah.
Yeah, so what we kind of have with the not the void storage guy, but the other one, where
Yeah,
the reforger, hey?
Reforger, yeah. That they're
So-
removing. So it'd have to be something like a built-in enchanter's benefit. So it'd try and get more enchanters in the game, is to displace certain item usage.
Yeah, and that seems pretty overpowered, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
So I think it might be better if we keep Diablo Enchanting in just Diablo. So, yeah. Let's move on to transmogrification then, because I do know a bit about that one. But, LJ, how about you tell us about Diablo
Well,
Transmog?
it's
I'm
pretty
lazy
simple.
today.
Yeah, well, today you're always lazy.
Well, that's
But
true.
now basically what you can do is if you the more the upgrade you upgrade the enchantress, which is level 12 is the maximum with every merchant at the moment. You unlock more visual sets of different items. So for all the classes, for if it's level 1, you have like the basic stuff, but if level 12, you can get the more high end stuff. But also you unlock certain visuals when you pick up an item. So for instance, if I have a certain wand with a that looks like basically a spine. So that sounds very awesome, to be honest.
You ripped it out of someone.
Exactly, and it's very powerful at that. But when you do that, when you then you unlock that visual as well. So if you get a wand in the future and want to look at like that spine again, you can just choose it. It will cost you about 50,000 gold, if I'm correct, for
Yeah.
legend to
For
give the
this,
legendary.
yeah, for
Yeah?
the standard items, it's 500 gold. For legendary looks, it's something like 50k. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 50. For some things it's 20. For some other things it's 50k to just make it look like it. So that is quite expensive, though. 50k, we know Diablo, you get that back pretty soon. But yeah, it's not too bad though. The only thing, and I've been reading this on Reddit as well. They've already, they have a lot of suggestions and such on there as well. Like you can't change the dyes that the item have, so sometimes you'll end up with a rainbow set if you transmogrify everything, or you'll have different pieces of different colors all around.
Yeah.
So that is my something they want to change. That if you transmog something, that you can also choose the color it's in. Would make it a little bit better, but as it is, it's just transmog, so it's not something that's crucial. It's nice. I mean, we've been running around with weird gears for as long as we know with Diablo, so it doesn't change the game a whole lot, but it's just a nice addition to it.
Well, that's pretty cool. And with this one, I think we might have even said it in the past. Bring it to World of Warcraft, please, so that about 200 of my item slots open up. Once I unlock them, I can just throw them out the window. Please. My entire void storage is gear. Transmog gear.
That's what I really do like, because as soon as you go pick up an item, it just saves that visual look. So it's just like, oh, okay, I've now got that look. Okay, I can throw you away.
Exactly.
Because that is just awesome about what I picked up. I went and picked up, I think, a weapon off the Skeleton King, and it's just like, okay, that saved that. Okay, I don't need that anymore, and it's useless. Okay, throw.
Yeah.
But
you have that possibility now, so
yeah,
that's
you
nice.
do have that possibility. So then you can just go, okay, because I've got that look, I can then go salvage it to get the items I need to craft more stuff. So yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. So, just bring it to WoW. I don't think we need to say anything else about that. It
No,
just needs to
basically not.
translate directly to World of Warcraft.
Yep.
So, the last thing that was added with the Diablo, and yeah, that can't really translate to World of Warcraft, so if WoW is all you care about. This is probably the moment to sign off. But the Crusader class got added. How's that one playing out? I know you guys aren't max level yet, but you must have an impression.
Well, I started leveling on Master with my Crusader, and I mean, yeah, it's difficult, but then the abilities just keep you alive all the time, so there's hardly any chance that you'll die. I mean,
Okay.
I just start with a
Yeah.
weapon, I'm just smacking them out all along with my Wrath abilities, and I stay alive, and I'm just like, what the hell? And this is on Master, and with other classes on Master, I was just like, well, this is kind of just killing me.
Yeah,
So
it's
it is.
a really powerful defensive, and yeah, it's like basically a combination of a protection and healing paladin. It's
Can
a
you
nice
say
class.
overpowered?
Um,
The combination of the two. Wow.
yeah,
Well, more or less. I mean, it doesn't really have doesn't have. I've only level 20ish.
Hmm.
So I don't have a lot of the skills yet, or runes for that matter. So I'm not sure if it has really that real heals and such. But it can heal himself. It can taunt. They really implement now a nice tank class for the game, which is nice if you want to group up with a lot of
but
people.
that is the thing with the Crusader. It may be able to take a lot of damage, but it is not considered a tank. Um, it's more considered the elite damage doer with some of the last end abilities, because I know that another person who we've been talking to has got one at the highest level, and he just smashes them with one of his abilities, but it's got a 20-minute cooldown.
Wow.
Yeah, so it kills everything more or less. But it's with being in a rift with one as well, when you get some of the extra pylons, which are the shrines for the rifts. If you get a certain one, you can just keep spamming that top end ability and everything's dead within seconds. And it is just
Wow.
totally overpowered with the last ability that they use. And I mean, God, you're just like, Jesus, I hate you. But
But you're glad to have him in the party as
yeah,
well.
you're glad to have them in, but you're just like, can I at least do some damage?
So, with their tankiness, can they taunt things off of others?
They have a taunting skill. They have that, but
Yeah.
like Warren said, they're not a real taunt, so they can not a real tank. So
Yeah.
it's only for a little while that
But
it
if you
stays on.
stay alive anyway.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
stay alive, but their proficiency isn't for tanking. They deal a hell of a lot of damage in a short space of time.
Okay. Well, they've certainly, yeah, gone a different way compared to the other classes then.
They sound a bit like what the Death Knights started out being, because they were quite gimpish in the first bit of Wrath of the Lich King, because everyone was using them and they could run through. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Well, they haven't.
right, okay.
They went up and down quite a lot with the ban hammer or
They
the
zigzagged.
nerf
Yeah.
hammer. So it's one at the start they were overpowered as hell, and then they got nerfed, and they got
Buffed, and
upgraded,
then, yeah.
buffed again, and it's just I
But
don't know
overall,
what
they were pretty good for the
they were
entire
pretty good.
expansion.
Yeah,
So,
they were.
yeah.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
I would consider them more like a Death Knight at the minute, because it's something new. Everyone's leveling them. Um, they are quite overpowered. Not to say that my class isn't overpowered sometimes, because I'm at the moment playing a Witch Doctor, and yeah, I like the new ability that they went and got, which is piranhas. But
yep.
I put them in a trap, so it becomes a tornado. So
Oh.
piranhas in a tornado, piranado.
Oh, wow. That's sounding like that very cheesy movie,
Yeah,
Sharknado.
Sharknado.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that sounds like Blizzard, doesn't it? Putting
Oh yeah.
something cheesy like that and putting
Oh,
it
you
into the
should hear some
game.
of the achievements, because they are just over the top.
Cormac and cheese.
Cormac and cheese. Oh,
Oh, there's some pretty good achievement. But that's Blizzard. That's what I've always liked about them. They really, they make a lot of they do a lot make those games with a lot of fun, but also let you have a lot of fun while doing them. I think, and it's just all those little bits. Like the achievements are just awesome with Blizzard. I think
Yeah.
they're the only one that really from the get go really did that very well. I think
yeah.
just made them. Yeah, some are nice to get, some are really prestigious, and some are just like, oh my god, that name, I need to have it.
Yeah, and
Uh,
they've
like
done
the one,
that
like the
over other games. So
yeah,
that's one thing
that's
they got right.
that's
Yeah.
one thing they've always done right. I think. And I like ludicrous speed because I'm a huge fan of Spaceballs. So that achievement was awesome. Stuff like that. I just like it.
Yeah. Um. Any last thoughts on Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls before we end the podcast?
That's been a short podcast, but
Oh yeah, definitely.
we need Blizzard to get the shit together and give us an update on WoD.
Yes. I just know that next week we will have an Artcraft update. So one of the new models. But outside of that, really, Blizz? Really? I think I'll be repeating that as long as they don't give us some
Anything.
good
Anything.
information about.
But it's with
More or
some of the
less.
things. It's with some of the things I was reading up. They think that they might not have all of the models out for before WoD.
Yeah.
So I was just like, does that
With
mean it's closer
extra time.
TM? Does that mean it's
No.
closer TM?
No, because that's from an older interview. That's
Ah.
before they gave the fall thingy.
Ah, okay.
So no, now
God
they're not
damn it.
even going to do all the work with all the extra time they're getting.
Grr. And I wanted seeing new models for my Night Elf.
Yeah.
Well, at least
We
they
haven't
have
seen
the.
anything from Night Elves, have we?
No, not a thing. I mean, we see the ugly undead, and we see the short, stout dwarfs, and
Hey,
the
be easy on the
awesome.
dwarves. You're surrounded by dwarves at the moment, so
you see the stout dwarfs. I didn't say anything nasty about a
Uh-huh.
dwarf.
We're
They'll
watching
have to
you.
raid with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Blizzard, give us something. Or
Please.
give us a technical alpha invite for whatchamacallit. Heroes of the Storm.
Yes, I mean,
We'd
please.
make a F-ton of videos for that, I can tell you.
Yeah.
And lots of streaming.
Probably
So,
just see me dying all the time, but yeah.
alright. Well, some of us would play well. Others,
Others will just play and just go,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like the taste of this floor. It's quite nice.
Yeah, so thanks for watching / listening. This was WoW Weekly episode number 28, a very short one at that. If you liked the video, please comment, subscribe, click the like button. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/WoWweekly and Twitter at twitter.com/bbmezzy. You can of course check out our website. When there's news about World of Warcraft, you can find new articles on wowweekly.net. When there isn't news, you'll find links to our videos and stuff like that. LJ and I did a shoutcast of Heroes of the Storm this week on Sunday or Monday. Monday, I believe.
Monday.
And I think that's all I have to plug. So thanks to LJ and Warren for joining.
Yep. Thanks for the invite. It's been good.
Yeah, short and sweet, I think,
Short
is
and
the best
sweet.
way to describe it today.
Yep.
Thanks again to the viewer for watching / listening. I'm Mezzy, and we'll see you again next time.